Welcome back, business besties. Today, we're going to be talking about how to grow into a group practice. Now, some of you know and have been working with me for a while, and this might be a bit of a review, but I think it's really important to walk you through my 5-step scaling method. We'll get to that in just a sec. But first, did you know that I'm going to be doing an Ask Me Anything episode? I want to hear from you. I'm going to be doing an Ask Me Anything at All episode right here on the podcast. Do you want to submit a question and I'll answer it? All you have to do is jump onto Instagram, nicole.mccantsmethod. I'll make sure to link it in the show notes. We're probably hanging out over there anyway. Look for the post that came out today, and all the details are there on how to submit your question. I'll be selecting some and I'll be answering them right here. So excited. I want to chat with you specifically about my 5-step scaling method. As you know, I don't only help you build a 7-figure group practice, but one that can run without you if set up correctly, and one that you can sell one day. Do you want to set up something that you can actually sell and have the freedom? Even in this moment, if you don't want to sell, always build a business that you one day can sell. Here's the truth. The big group practices aren't sharing their secrets. And to be really honest, I adore you, but if I didn't sell, I wouldn't be sharing this. Think about it. That would be really bad business move in some ways, right? Like to say, hey guys, here's all the things I'm doing. I would love to help you, but I wouldn't be opening up and going right under the hood and giving you the secret sauce, but you get it, which is so amazing because I sold and I wanted to, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a helper. What do I do with my life now that I'm a retired psychologist? And I was like, wait, I'm giving it all away. Here's the secret sauce, my friend. So let's jump in to my proprietary 5-step scaling method. I met somebody a couple of weeks ago. It was a therapist, and she wanted to start a group practice. And she was thinking that the first step is to hire, right? Isn't it? I want to grow. I have a wait list, or maybe I'm burnt out. I want to work a bit less. I'll just hire. That's the first biggest mistake. Don't do that first. Step 1 of the 5-step scaling method is actually to systemize, build the container, build it, the solid foundation. What does that actually mean? Well, here's the thing. We want to get all of the knowledge out of your head, how you run everything, how you process payment, how do you respond to new clients, what is your cancellation policy, all of it. And then that way, when you hire, that therapist will go to where? Not you, your manual. So starting today, I would like you to open up a Google Doc and you're probably thinking, okay, Nicole, I'm really busy. I can't create a manual, but could you? The next time you do something, could you record yourself doing it? What I mean is use a Loom, a screen recorder, and obviously in privacy mode if you're in your practice management software or anything private. But the next time you respond to a client, you could record it, remove the name, and then even better, you could put it in ChatGPT and say, create a manual, create an SOP, standard operating procedures. Just start to do it now. Start to do it now. And then eventually I can teach you is to create an onboarding process. So imagine that you could lean into your role as CEO, because guess what? That's what you are once you hire. And you don't have to be CQA, Chief Question Answer. I know there's people on the podcast who have a group practice who are thinking, oh my gosh, that's 100% what I am. I'm a CQA rather than a CEO. And then I want you to start thinking, okay, so when I hire this person, what are all the steps that I would need to do? Well, I would need to train them in my JNAP practice management software. Are you using JNAP yet? I'll throw a coupon for you to try it for free for 1 month. What else would I do? Well, I would teach them the cancellation policy, how to write notes, when the notes are due, all of that. You're going to get it out of your head. But guess what? You're going to create and then you're going to delegate to an admin. I highly suggest that your first hire should be an admin. And in my program, my 6-month business coaching program, it's so interesting. Members grow twice as fast when they hire an admin. And when I say admin, I mean it could be somebody on Indeed, it could be a VA company. I love Ginger Desk. Have you heard of Ginger Desk yet? If I was to do it all over again, I would probably get a VA company first. It's just easy, especially if you're virtual, right? It's a company that comes trained. Why I like Ginger Desk is their people are already trained, and they work with Canadians and Americans, and they've been trained in privacy and only work with healthcare professionals. So whoever you're going to work with, oh, and I have a coupon for them. Do you want $250 off? It's yours. It's also in the show notes. I'm like the coupon queen today. You're welcome. So I would have somebody like a VA, they take over the manual. You're going to offload the overwhelm, my friend. And I know this feels scary, but it has to be the first step before you hire. Because if you're feeling like it's a mess in your head and you bring somebody into that, it will only be messier. Did you know that I give you the container? If we ever end up working inside the Clinic Growth Map, my coaching program, I give it to you. I actually not only give you all the secret sauce of how I grew so fast, probably one of the fastest in our industry, but I give you all the things. If you want the manual that I used, all the onboarding, offboard, everything, all the marketing plans, everything, jump into episode 107. It's called Grow With Me inside my business coaching program. Okay. So that'll walk you through that. Number one, you have systemized. Oh my gosh, everything is out of your head. And by the way, this isn't like a one-time thing where you get it out of your head and that's it. When you hire, which we're going to get into step 2 now, they're going to have questions. And then you're going to say, oh, shoot, I forgot to add that to the manual. And guess what you're going to do? Add it to the manual. And then eventually your admin, this is a live document that your admin is always adding to. This is how you set yourself up for an automated practice. Step 2, this is where you build your dream team. This is where you get the freedom because your clinic, your practice is actually still open. The clients are being seen. You're making the impact, but you no longer need to sit in front of somebody to make that happen. I don't know about you, but for me, my biggest frustration was hitting a ceiling in my income. I'm a very hard worker. I know you are too. So I had a good life. We lived by the water. We lived in a townhouse at the time. And I had to see so many clients to have the life, like to live in Toronto in a townhouse by the water. I had to see a lot of clients, way too many guys, way too many. Honestly, to the point that I feel like I was put on this earth to do therapy. There were moments when I was burnt out that I didn't enjoy it. It felt like a job. I was just, honestly, don't tell anybody, but I was kind of like banging out the clients, which is hard to, really admit to myself, but I had no choice. And then, as you know, I became pregnant with twins. And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to scale and I'm going to hire. So if you're also feeling sick and tired of working so darn hard, having to sit in front of somebody to have the abundance come in, this is for you. The hiring is really the magic. The systemizing can be boring, but the hiring is the freedom piece. And then just as a side note, then all the abundance came when I hired, because that avalanche of abundance is now there because I don't need to sit in front of somebody for that abundance and that money to flow in. I can make a bigger impact. And then we were able to buy a bigger house, and then we were able to buy a cottage, and then we were able to just all of these things because I took the risks. Are you ready? I was just sick of my comfort zone. Yes, it was comfortable and familiar, but I had to push myself out of it because I knew and trusted that what was on the other side was greater than I could ever imagine. Now you're going to hire, and the first person I suggest you should hire is a mini me. You see, you probably heard me say this before, maybe. I really felt like a baby boss because I'd never been a boss. There's no training there. And it was a bit intimidating. So if you feel intimidated, know that I will walk beside you. I was you just 5 years ago. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to hire a baby therapist, someone new in their career. So I decided to start with interns. And if you're in Canada, we are very lucky that we get access to interns pretty easily. through two big schools, the schools. And then if you're in the States, double check, but a lot of you can also hire interns. Here's the thing though. The good news is I liked it because they were green in their career. So I felt less pressure. We can kind of grow together. I also liked it from a business standpoint, cash flow. The person you want to hire is actually pre-licensed or an intern. Why? Because just from a business standpoint, because you keep more, right? You pay them less. You're going to pay someone who's not fully licensed. We call it qualifying in Canada. In the States, it's called pre-licensed. You're going to pay them 50%, because they're getting training, they're getting supervision. A fully licensed person gets 60. So you get to keep an extra 10%. And my goodness, that matters at the beginning because it can be expensive at the beginning. You've got your website, you've got all of these things that you're investing in now to grow everything. But actually, I loved interns because we're not allowed to pay them at all. But I poured so much into them in terms of everything else that they were learning. And I also didn't get paid as an intern. So it was a win-win that they were learning so much. I was willing to give that and supervise. And then I was able to give to my business all that cash flow. So I took the money that came in and I put it back into the business. Do you see that? And then I actually decided to continue to see clients for as long as I could. Was that a lot? Yes, it was. Did I have multiple hats on? New mom hat, still a therapist hat, now a supervisor hat, now a boss hat, but also now I'm like feeding this business hat. But it was a season. I just knew that, you know what? I have a feeling that if I can just get through this season, I'll be able to one day let go of the clients. Even though I loved therapy, I did it for 15 years. I was ready because I got fulfilled with the supervision. And then eventually I grew so much that I let go of the supervision. And then I could lean in and really own my CEO role and just make sure everyone's happy and I'm driving the ship and we're not going to sink. There's no holes in the ship because somebody needs to drive the ship. And then one day I was able to let go of that when a psychiatrist approached me and said, wait a minute, this is a nice shiny ship. It definitely floats on its own. Can I buy it? And this is where a business coach comes in, guys. Zero chance. Please hear this. And I'm not just saying this because I am a business coach. I promise you. Zero chance that I would have gotten the results that I did without somebody to go to every single week and ask 100 questions and follow her exact formula. Was she a therapist? No, she wasn't. Was she helping to grow group practices? No, she wasn't actually. She was teaching like online courses, but I needed somebody. There wasn't much out there. So I had her and she was amazing. She guided me. She just showed me what was possible and answered my questions in real time. So the momentum was real. Now, step number 3. So now you are a boss. You've hired your mini-me. This is somebody with your personality. So you can begin to move clients over. You've hired somebody maybe pre-licensed or maybe an intern. You've got the cash coming in. You're feeding the business for now. You know the business will eventually feed you for the rest of your life, and not just you, but your whole family. And then step 3, of course, is we need the clients. So step 3 is attracting clients with digital marketing. I believe in all the types of marketing. My favorite was digital. And I want to ask you, because it's a personal choice, do you have the bandwidth right now to put in time and effort? If you do, don't do digital marketing. You can do strategic marketing, cold reach outs, warm reach outs, and networking. Okay. I didn't have that. I was a new mom. It was a lot. I really wanted to understand how to be a twin mom and also just enjoy it. So I was like, if I don't have the time and the effort, then I'm going to have to invest what? Money. Digital marketing works while you sleep. It doesn't take my time. It doesn't take my effort. Perfect. I didn't have any of that at the time. I had low bandwidth, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to invest. But of course, I did not do Google Ads specifically. I did not do it on my own. The truth is, people go to Google to find help. Aren't we lucky? Here's the thing though. I see a couple of mistakes that therapists do. One is they try to do Google ads on their own to save money. But it's such a reframe. And I understand where it's coming from, but I would love to help you reframe. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to figure it out. The thing is, you could pay a company $400, $500. Those are the ones that we work with in my program. They're cheap. That much per month. Maybe that doesn't feel cheap to you, but get this. Your time is worth more than $400. You're spending way more than that in your time. And what if you could invest in an expert at $400 or $500 a month and get 4 times the results back? Just like hopefully you wouldn't fix your toilet if it broke, you would buy back your time. So I did that right because my coach told me to. I was very coachable. So every single thing, and it's amazing because I love my members so much. Honestly, I'm kind of obsessed with them. The results they're getting are unreal. Some of them are hitting their 6-figure months. That is possible, 6-figure months. And it's because they're coachable. So number one, don't do it yourself. Okay. You're going to do the digital marketing, or you can do the other things if you have the time and money. But at the beginning, why not invest a little bit into something that will grow without you? Because you're going to be doing your manuals and you're going to be a new boss. So you can focus on those things while the experts focus on bringing in the clients. The second biggest mistake I see is not only that people are doing their Google ads themselves, they have a therapist brain, but they're trying to do a tech thing, but that their website doesn't convert. They also did their website themselves, trying to save money. And I totally get that, right? If you don't have money, you don't have money. But if you can cut out a few things to create a bit of a budget to save, to get that website done, and then also to invest in the ads, that's where the money, like the abundance and the clients, that's where how you're going to get them. Your website now converts. You invested in an expert to do your website, and you invested with an expert to do the Google ads. And now they're going to a website and they're booking, and then they're converting, which leads us to number 4. Number 4, don't skip this, is convert clients with consult calls. You're going to offer a 20-minute consult call, not a 15-minute, please. 15 minutes is not enough. It's just not enough time to go from stranger, this person doesn't know you, to trust you enough to book, to tell you their secrets and really be vulnerable. You're going to spend the first 15 minutes, and eventually this will be your therapist, the first 15 minutes building rapport. I actually have a consult call script for you. Do you want it? Just message me the 3 words, message me on Instagram. The link is in the show notes, as I mentioned, consult call script, and I'll give it to you. There's a whole process to guide someone to a yes, because the truth is people don't want to feel their feelings. Denial is easier. I'll do it later is easier. I'll just use my best friend as my therapist is easier. So I guide you through what to actually say to increase your conversion rate off the consult call. So message me and that is yours. And then the last 5 minutes, you're going to do 3 things. 1, go over your cancellation policy. 2, get their credit card. And 3, you're going to book 4 sessions, not 1, not 2, but 4. Technically, if you think about it, a treatment plan, the typical treatment plan is 12 weeks, let's say, depending on what you do. In some ways, we should be booking all 12. I just found you just met them. It just feels like a lot to book 12. So I felt most people were comfortable with booking weekly for their first month. And then after every session, including the first session, you're always going to be 4 to 6 weeks ahead. So you're just going to book the next few. And what you're going to say is, most of my clients prefer to have a dedicated slot for them, a certain day and a certain time. I have Wednesdays at 2 available right now. I also get pretty booked up So if you want to reserve it, we can book 4 or more. What feels comfortable? And they'll say, oh, perfect. Yes. You know what? Let's book even more than that. Or like, that's great. And I looked at, and she wasn't sure why, because she was really good. And I looked at our calendar and I realized it's because you're not pre-booking. You're not booking out the next 4 sessions. You're just saying, okay, come next week. And then what happens is the week after that, the no-show rate is higher. So they're not showing. So I find if you give someone the same day, the same time, they work their life around it, and the cancellation and no-show rate is low. But if you're moving them here, you're moving them there, they're more likely to say, oh, shoot, I have something on that day now. And then maybe they'll just cancel one session, but the calendar is no longer full because they end up coming every 2 weeks. So just the simple thing, pre-book 4 or even 6 sessions and do it on the consult call. This is a question that came up in one of my live events the other day. So I want to make sure you don't leave here without knowing this. That you have the option in Jane app, the practice management software that helped me grow, because it's not just, it really helps you grow. It's amazing that you can actually require the credit card on the online booking at the time of booking the consult. So picture this, your website's converted. They finally click on book now. They see the faces because Jane has a bunch of faces. It's a mini Psychology Today profile. It's amazing. Or a mini Psychology Today directory. You see all your therapist faces. They click on that. They're like, ooh, yes, this person is perfect for me. And then you have the option to ask, okay, in order to book this appointment, what is your credit card number? And it's held securely. Don't do that. I tried it and I closely tested. And we're all about testing in my program. Let's do A/B testing. And I found that if you ask for the credit card before they know you, like you, and trust you, and have talked to you at all, the conversion rate goes way down. So don't have that. You can check that off in Jane, meaning it's not going to ask that. Not only did it reduce our number of bookings, but it also led to a negative Google review, which was so unfortunate. This person got upset and wrote about it and specifically said, I don't like that they are making me give my credit card before I've even talked to anyone. And honestly, it kind of makes sense to me. Don't require that. You can get it on the consult call. You're giving yourself 5 more minutes. That's why it's a 20-minute call. And lastly, the last step 5 of the 5-step scaling method is retain. Of course, you worked so hard for this client. Retain them. Retain clients with follow-ups. Are you following up? Did you know that the industry research shows, in not just our industry, in every industry, accountants, HR, restaurants, gyms, if they follow up with clients after that client no-shows or cancels, or after they ghost. So Jane calls it an unscheduled visit. Basically, have you ever had a client who is doing really well, they're coming weekly, everything's great, and then they just stop coming? Okay. Do you follow up with them? And also, do you follow up with those who don't book on the consult call? They'll have the consult call and they'll say, I have to check insurance, I have to check with my spouse about the couples counseling, I have to check with my kid about, does he want to come in for therapy? Are you following up? If you follow up, here's what the research says. It increases your sales by 20%. So in general, all businesses, when they follow up and invest in this, 20% more people come back. You just get them sooner. Even myself, time flies, months will go by. And I'm like, that happened with my Reiki person. I love her. I meant to book, and literally, I think 6 weeks went by. If she would have followed up with me a week later, I would have been there for 5 more sessions and I would have felt great in my body. Here's the thing. When I speak to you, I speak in business terms, right? I know that in some ways I'm very different than the other business coaches because I'm like hardcore business, which we're not used to at all as therapists. But the way that I want to teach you how to grow your business. So I speak in terms of like how to bring in more income. And this is one of them. Do the follow-ups and you will grow by 20%. 10% at least. Do you want to hang out live at my masterclass? I have a masterclass. I have 2 of them every single week, how to build a 7-figure group practice. If you come, I go into the 5-step scaling method in a much more depth, and you can ask all the questions and be supported in the chat. I'll see you next week.